Both James and I think that modern luxury cars have lost their way. That's why in the last episode we each bought a V12 flagship from what we think is the golden era of German luxury and quality. We had a tight budget and they each cost about 10 grand US, but so far they've comfortably, sort of, and seamlessly worked-ish.
Come on, you got this. That tyre looks a bit low. Is that flat?
I don't think my air conditioning is working.
But they have carted us around to see the sights and sounds and food of Toronto. So now it was time to continue our food tour and set off towards our destination, Montreal, and the F1 track within it, to pay homage to the great V12 engines powering our cars.
But to make it even better, we had taken our cars to get them straight piped. And even though we didn't have the money for a big fancy header setup, we thought we'd been clever and designed exhaust that will hopefully let the V12s sing. However, as usual when you buy cheap old German cars, things go medium at best. We met up in the morning ready to test our new exhausts, and since we had a budget for mods in the amount of 3 paper clips, a twig, and a handful of lint, our hopes in our chosen exhaust designs were high, but our expectations were low.
All right, this should be loud.
Ooh, yes.
James, why is your tip a bit rusty there?
It's all about the sound though, isn't it? It's not the aesthetic.
And saving money, apparently.
I can start my car now.
Did you get a new battery?
I did get a new battery.
I got a new tire. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Some tragedy befell the last battery.
Oh.
Can I show you actually?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you... He's prepared this.
Oh, they make these heavy, don't they?
That is a battery. It's a BMW
Check that.
What happened?
So here's my theory. See that badge?
It is a BMW battery, yeah, because it fit in.
I think it rejected the car. it rejected the host.
Yeah. It didn't want to spend one moment longer in a Mercedes, so it just tried to catch on fire.
Yeah, not good.
That's not a good look. Okay, go start your car.
Please start.
This is not the Sentry. That is the wrong side to get in the car.
Hopefully
If you think he planned that, he didn't. Okay, here we go. Whoa. That's meaty. All right, you stay here. I'll give us a rev. Cold start.
It started.
It did start. You ready?
Yeah. Jesus. Give me a bit more. That's insane.
Oh my God.
It's deep.
It's so deep.
I thought it would scream more, but it's like deep.
Next, it was my car's turn.
Oh yeah. Oh, you go rev that.
Before we left, we had a little rev off. Jury is still out on which sounds better, but either way, we hit the road with our totally above-board exhausts, definitely not exceeding the legal 95 decibel limit and perfectly meeting all emissions regulations, and headed towards Montreal.
But we had realised that on the way was a racetrack that used to be a Formula 1 Grand Prix track, and it was the perfect spot to stop and test our car's performance before the big finale in Montreal. And because Thomas thought that maybe this exhaust had woken up his car a bit.
Hey, James.
Yeah. I think I've picked up a few horsepower.
How's your drone?
It's really not bad, to be honest. Like, this is very luxury motoring still.
Honestly, when I'm off it, I can't even really hear the exhaust at all.
A couple of hours of smooth luxury cruising later, we arrived at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Grand Prix track, which for most of its history, and to many locals, has been known as Mosport, the home of the Canadian Grand Prix before Montreal stole it in 1977. Many greats have raced here. Jackie Stewart, Sterling Moss, Fangio, Niki Lauda, James Hunt, who punched a marshal for no reason, Bruce McLaren, Gilles Villeneuve, Thomas Holland. Okay, I'm not famous, but I have raced here, but never in something that sounded quite like this.
Oh, yeah! Oh, that's so fun. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh man, you know what? This car actually handles really well.
Not only do the 7 Series sound great and look epic, but it also is truly a BMW. Balanced and engaging, from the era when BMW really cared about making all their cars drivers' cars.
God, this just feels like a sports car. Oh. 140, 150 kilometers an hour, 160, 170, oh, 180. I got a break. The last time I was on this racetrack, it was all sadness because I blew the engine in my BMW race car. This is a happier day than that.
My turn. Yeah! That's a good sound. That sounds good. This thing's not slow.
It really isn't, and that's where it has the BMW, the proud 402 horsepower number. There's a reason Pagani chose this engine for the Zonda. The rest of it is not that Zondery though.
Oh, it doesn't like the turns though. It doesn't like the turns. It's very much S-Class first. Oh, it feels heavy. Like the fact that I can do this on the main straight tells me it's not a scalpel, you know, it's not a weapon.
Hey, James.
Yes.
I'm feeling very F1 inspired right now with my straight pipe V12 on a Grand Prix track. Before we go to Montreal, what do you think about doing F1 liveries on our cars?
Interesting. I think we should raise the stakes. I think we should liverize each other's cars.
You mean like I wouldn't have a say in what you do? That seems like a bad idea.
Correct.
All right, I'll tell you what. On the little back straight that's actually not so straight over there, the Mario Andretti straight, why don't we do a little drag race? And if you win the drag race, I don't think you're going to, then I'll let you wrap my car and I'll wrap yours.
All right, I'll see you at the Marie Antoinette straight. All right, how do I make this go fast?
I've got mine in the sport mode, so I'm just gonna let it shift and do what it wants to do.
5, 4, 3,
Break talk a bit.
2, 1, go. Oh, I just did a massive burnout. Whoops.
Okay, I have no regrets. However, we will need to do that again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, Mercedes.
Oh, we're away. My park's distance control still, no way!
Oh yes. Oh yes, you're a slowpoke. You're a slowpoke.
What the hell? Look at that thing freaking go!
I'm gonna wrap you in poo!
Oh my, I cannot believe how much quicker that is than this.
500 pounds heavier this is. 500 pounds.
You fully ripped past me in the top end. Holy crap.
Sonderclass. It means special.
You're gonna wrap my car. I'm gonna wrap your car. Oh my God.
All right, but just go easy, all right? Think Lewis Hamilton.
Unfortunately though, Thomas's daydreams about what he could wrap my car with were interrupted by his car.
Oh my God, a lot of smoke coming out of my brakes. A lot of smoke coming out of my brakes.
Oh, you're leaking. Tom, you're leaking heavily. Heavily. You're leaking everything.
Leaking?
It's leaking. Yeah, it's a nice photo you got here.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's some legendary BMW reliability.
It's... Okay.
How far away does French Canada does it feel like it's in France?
It's just a bit of coolant. It's doing what all BMWs do, which is have plastic cooling systems that break easily. Listen.
Yeah, go on.
I'm an experienced BMWer,
Right.
and I know that this is a minor issue.
Looks pretty bad.
It was bad, actually. I couldn't fix it in the pits because the excessive heat had cracked the radiator. So yeah, that put a stop to us leaving on our road trip because the 7 Series had to be towed back to the start line. Clarkson Fine Cars, so they could fix it. Fortunately, our visit to Mosport wasn't wasted, and it coincided with Drive Fest, easily the ultimate car show in our neck of the woods, with tens of thousands of people attending each year. So James and I took his Toyota Century up the Dream Car speed run, slowly, and then we hung around to meet all you guys, which was super fun, even if we couldn't figure out why so many people lined up to shake hands, when James made it very clear he doesn't wash his hands after the toilet.
Yeah, but you don't need to if it's just a pee.
Yeah, we'll talk about this later.
Then the sun set, and then it rose, and now that Thomas's car was fixed, I was able to take it over to Limitless Wraps to apply my artistic flair to it in glorious 3M film, and he was able to take my S-Class, except he wasn't, because somehow in that time, he broke it?
James is gonna think that I broke his car. Well, I mean, I did break his car, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like James's car wasn't happy about the drag racing either. It just took longer to complain. And yeah, it seems like every seal near the back of the engine decided to release all the oil they were holding in at once. And again, our road trip was thwarted as we had to have the car towed back to the shop.
But finally, after many more days, both cars seemed to be working. Someone knock on wood, please. The wraps were done, and we had our production team line them up and blindfold us for the big reveal of what we'd done to each other's car.
3, 2, 1, remove! Oh! That is good.
You've ruined this.
What's that?
You've ruined it.
I didn't ruin it. What
This
are you talking
is
about?
horrid. Why has it got a Ferrari badge?
Because it's a Ferrari. You said think Lewis Hamilton.
think Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari next year. He's no longer in a Mercedes, so I was just keeping with the times.
What's weather?
Well, it says Weather Tech, because obviously we've got all of our sponsor logos on it, because it's an F1 inspired livery. It's got its sponsors, but it's red on red, so that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
Come on, though.
There's a Ferrari badge
There's
here.
a Ferrari badge in the back. Yes, there is. This is a Ferrari S600L.
It's grotesque, is what it is.
What are you talking
Absolutely
about?
grotesque. Look what I've done for you. I've given you a modern. So there hasn't been Formula One BMW for a while.
Right.
But this is what it once looked like, and I've done two-tone, like a modern 7 Series. I feel like you've done me.
This looks really good. I'm feeling a bit bad right now.
Oh, it gets better.
Yeah.
I've modernized the front.
Oh my God.
you're looking at the new design language.
James, you've ruined
How
my
ca-
E38.
How can I have ruined it?
I don't feel bad anymore about making yours a Ferrari. That is disgusting.
That's the new stuff.
You didn't even do a good job. It's pixelated. Is this like
because
a decal?
every time I looked at a high-res version, I wanted to claw my eyes out. This is a kindness.
I can't
But
believe
if you say this is ruined, that means you're
believe
saying
you
that the new design language is ruined.
It is. It's shit. We know that. This was the famously good-looking BMW 7 Series, and you've ruined it.
I think it's beautiful. And can I direct your attention to?
Oh my God, you changed the plate. Is that ladies love long wheelbase?
Ladies love long wheelbase. Something we discovered when we first played with an E38. On the forums, that's what they all said. Now you have it. The long wheelbase.
I'm embarrassed.
Modern day, Formula One color inspired 7 Series.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now that you've got extra cooling, I have a lot more faith that we're going to get to Montreal.
Sure, yeah, I won't blow another radiator.
Yeah, right now it feels very far away because we keep failing.
Let's start with attempt number 38.
Oh, my wing mirror's out.
Your what? Oh yeah, I fixed it. I had Limitless Wraps wrap right over it, so it's fixed.
Yeah, that doesn't make up for the garbage Ferrari stuff. But is it because my car's so much quicker than yours?
It makes you feel better. I put an F1 inspired gift on your front seat there. Take a look.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, what is this?
What do you think?
It's like an oxygen mask.
No, it's for your penis.
What's for my penis?
The thing you're holding in your hand. It's one of those things you put on before you do a race.
Oh no!
And then you could just pee. You don't have to stop. That's massive though. Jeez.
Correct. For someone else.
Right, yeah, of course. That's what I meant to say.
So sorry, how am I supposed to, I'm not going to pee in this.
Yeah, you just pee in it. You just put it on and then you strap this to your leg. There's laces. Okay, and then you can just pee freely.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Why not?
I'm not going to pee in a bag.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, finally, after many old German car problems and failed attempts, and now adorned in our bastardization of Formula One liveries, the journey towards Montreal began for the 16th time. Here we go!
There, that's the furthest we've been from the Shire since starting this trip. The one way to make a Mercedes more reliable? Make it a Ferrari.
All right, I was hoping that since we were delayed a lot, that the temperature outside would have dropped and I wouldn't have to suffer in a non-air conditioned V12 7 Series for several days of a road trip. But it hasn't. It's still 23 degrees Celsius outside and it's hot in here. So I think I'm going to fix my air conditioning. I'm going to try anyway.
Which meant, of course, stopping by Canadian Tire, a place where Canadians get everything from cheddar cheese to babies to grab what I needed.
What is that, Freon?
No, this is R134A.
What's that?
Which is like a more environmentally friendly Freon, essentially, right? It's
Okay.
actually super interesting. So like, it's currently in a liquid form, obviously, right? Because the way that air conditioning system works is that it's like the rapid expansion of liquid to gas. And the energy to do that essentially sucks the heat from the atmosphere. And I basically we've harnessed that, the system, but my amount of refrigerant is low. It's actually super cool. It's very simple once you kind of understand how it works.
Am I your only friend?
Oh yeah. That worked. Let's get some lunch.
Okay, yeah, tacos are not super Canadian, but when we panic on trips in new places, that's what the Throttle House team defaults to. And this place was good, ran by a guy from Mexico City. And yeah, while we ate, people were miring. Hopefully not the same people who broke into our truck at the end of the last episode. And then, with full bellies and Thomas's newly refreshed aircon system, we soldiered on.
Also, you know my air conditioning that I just fixed?
Yeah.
It has unfixed itself.
And he knew all about it. He's all about... And the sun is still out.
It was time to cover some serious miles, for which the cars continued to do wonderfully. James even made use of his FM radio to pass the time, the antenna for which he insisted went up significantly and erotically.
It is very sensual the way that it goes up there.
Lots of miles later, night fell as we neared the nation's capital of Ottawa, which we decided was as good a place as any to hang our hat for the night. But feeling guilty for having a less than authentic lunch, we thought we should at least have a Canadian dinner first. But then we didn't. Japanese all-you-can-eat barbecue, baby! Sweet mother of miso, it was delicious.
In the morning, we packed up the cars, and knowing we only had a few hours left to go for Montreal, excitedly and hastily we set off in our low-slung gangster cars, some of us more hastily than others.
A few miles into the final stretch of highway, we realised that after spending a ton of time with our old V12s, there were some things we had grown to appreciate about them. Some things that modern regulations have kind of got in the way of.
In a modern luxury car, you've got probably 8 speeds, you've got turbochargers, but in a car like this, with far fewer speeds than that, and no turbochargers, just displacement and power, you don't have to downshift, ever, on a highway. You just put your foot down and you just get this smooth, seamless wave of torque. And then you put a little exhaust on it, and then you also get to hear that.
Effortless power. That's the beauty of it. And it's not tuned so that all of the throttle happens at the very top of the pedal. I have to literally go balls deep to get anything out of it, which means it's just smooth. And even when I request that power from that well of the 6-litre displacement, it doesn't jerk. Yeah, this engine's going, fingers crossed, this engine's going great.
So great, in fact, that it was consuming twice as much fuel as the Cruise fully loaded Land Rover LR4, with the rear hatch open acting as a windbreak. Yeah, that's the price of the no downshifting, high displacement smoothness we were talking about. I'd take another gear, or two, but hey, I can't complain, because even though my seatbelt became cooked spaghetti, at least my car didn't start making a ridiculous noise.
What is that noise? Ah. All right. Oh. We've entered Quebec, where somehow the drivers are worse than the roads. But hey, at least their food is good, and you don't need front plates. Oh.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
Getting a little misfire over here.
Like, on gradual throttle or just generally as you cruise?
Yeah, kind of like high load, low RPMs. She's chugging a bit.
Maybe it's a cylinder deactivation thing, right? That's what modern cars do to save fuel. So it's doing its own version of that so it can keep up with the times.
I like the way you think. That is exactly what's happening here.
Another half an S-Class fill-up later, we entered Montreal, the 9th largest city in North America, and considered by many to be the most European. A francophone paradise of food, music, fashion, and culture, and pumping out endless Assassin's Creed games apparently. Spurred on by the promise of Montreal's very own famous bagels ahead of us, we were excited and hungry. Even the E38's stomach was gurgling.
Oh, God. All right, I'll be honest with you. Over the years, I've got pretty good at diagnosing car problems, and I've had a lot of really junky cars. I have absolutely no idea what that sound is, but it sounds like it's coming from my transmission.
I'm actually really looking forward to having a bagel. I haven't had a bagel in a long time. I'm banned from most Toronto bagel shops because of I kept asking them what happened to the middle bit of the bagel. I wanted to eat that.
As we neared our first stop, we started to realise that municipal funding must have been going toward the bagel infrastructure and not the roads.
Oh, God. These roads aren't good, are they?
They're better in my car.
I look so cool. I look so cool. I look so cool. I look so cool.
Not with that front end, you don't. After parking somewhere that to this day we still don't know if we were allowed to park, we entered a miniature bagel utopia, and very quickly, with the help of some cream cheese, devoured the lot. And from there, we set off deep into the heart of the city in the direction of the track, and on the way, we encountered more potholes, tremendous amounts of traffic, and charming Montreal architecture.
We were headed towards the famous F1 track, which actually sits on an island in the St. Lawrence River. But it took so long to get across the city, we found ourselves getting a bit peckish, as James would say, for a light lunch.
Well, actually, you got hangry.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Play the clip.
You know, I need to take a little bit of beef with this. I want to say that everywhere else in Canada, everywhere else, you have to have French and English on all the signs everywhere. But you come to Quebec, and it's just French. There's no English to be seen. General Montcalm lost to General Wolfe on the Battle of the Plains of Abraham. That's why I speak English. And yet, I don't understand how this has happened like this.
Okay, fine, but I do actually stand by that. Either way, eventually we found ourselves in Old Town Montreal, the oldest part of the city, which was founded by the French settlers in 1642. A lot of buildings from early New France still stand, from the first century that Europeans settled in Canada, a time where they cared about beaver pelts and surviving harsh Canadian winters. And as it turns out, when making the cobbled roads, they selfishly had absolutely no regard for travel-weary motorcar drivers on cheap coilovers. Stomachs rearranged, it was time to eat again, and after a few more confusing French parking signs, James parked employing the only useful parking piece of technology his car had: my car.
Thomas insisted it was time for the most famous French dish of all, poutine. A dish that isn't fancy, so we didn't go for fancy. We went for real.
This is just cheesy chips.
Cheesy fries.
Cheese.
And it's the correct type of cheese, by the way. It's cheese curds. Has to be cheese curds.
And no one's like, oh, I wish this had cheese curds in it.
Yes, they are. The people that want authentic poutine.
This is just branded cheesy chips.
This is just junk food.
You can do this with any food.
Yeah. Yes, you technically can, but everything has a name, and this has poutine, and it's delicious. And this tastes exactly like every poutine I've ever had in my life.
It's quite nice though.
Right? Salty, gravy, cheese. It's got everything. So what's next? What do we got to do?
We're going to let our cars reach their ultimate goal. They've been luxury cars.
Yes.
They've been Grand Tourers.
They've been broken.
They've broken many times.
Yeah.
And they've been straight piped vroom vroom sports cars
And now they're going to drive on the Grand Prix track.
and become Formula One cars.
Actually, last time we were here, we were at an F1 race, and this is apt for your car, a Mercedes and a Ferrari driver stood on the podium. You see? You brought the right car, really.
I'm gonna be first.
You gonna lead the way?
Yeah, I'll lead the way.
Okay.
To the track.
Let's go. More poutine first. Hey, James, you know that funny noise my car was making? I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
I fixed it. It was the air conditioning compressor, very clearly malfunctioning badly, so I just turned it off, and now everything's perfect, but warm. This is it, James. Crossing the bridge. About to get on the racetrack.
Yeah, your car looks good. It's nice blue. I wish mine was blue.
I don't see what the problem is. James is in a Ferrari, which is the team that legendary Canadian F1 driver Gilles Villeneuve was driving for when he won here in 1978. And then, after his tragic death in 1982, the circuit was named after him. So, brimming with excitement, we rolled onto the racetrack. This was it. This was our ultimate goal, to let loose our V12s on Canada's Grand Prix track.
Oh, you literally can go straight on the racetrack.
Here it is. We're on the Grand Prix track. This is actually, I've lived very close to this place for a long time and I've never done it. Here's the chicane.
The stop sign's taken away from it a little bit.
Yeah, the stop signs are, but this is okay. There's a big straight, but this is the pit straight. We can really get the hammer down here. You ready? Oh. Does that say 30?
Yeah, that's what I just saw.
30 kilometers an hour.
So yeah, it turns out you can drive on the F1 track, but there is actually a max speed of 30 kilometers per hour. That's about 18.5 miles per hour. buzzkill.
Yeah, we're not exactly getting to do a grand finale homage to the greatest engine configuration of all time
On a Grand Prix track, are we?
30. 30. And that's 30.
As the sun set on Montreal and on our dreams of ripping our cars on an actual Grand Prix track, we felt more than a little bit robbed, which was a theme we were growing tired of. This trip was filled with disappointments and setbacks, and the chance to open our cars up on Canada's Grand Prix track was the last thing we had held on to make it all worth it. Fortunately though, things were almost immediately redeemed. Because even though Montreal has a lot of rules and signs that we can't read and terrible roads and bad traffic, it does have a lot of something else. Tunnels.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yes! Yes! That sounds like an Aventador!
Oh yes. So stupid! That's so stupid! I love it.
You see what's happening is that even though these don't have equal length headers, all of the exhaust pulses it's creating like a Doppler effect. They're all meeting outside in the tunnel. So, yeah, it sounds like I'm in a V12 F1 car.
Oh. What a scream!
This is the finale that this trip needed.
That's addictive. No pops, no bangs, just scream, just V12 scream.
Yes! Good God, that car is loud.
I can't believe it's an S-Class. It's a giant, bloody huge machine. Tall gears and big ears! That's all you need to enjoy one of these.
Not how I expected this whole video situation to go.
No, we thought we'd be able to do it all in one straight shot.
Yeah, well, that was pretty naive considering we did buy two $15,000 V12 German cars from 20 years ago. More than 20 years
here's
ago.
what I'm trying to think. Like, we set out to prove if luxury cars could luxury harder than old luxury could new luxury.
That is exactly what yeah.
And luxury is about owning your time, indulging in food.
Yes.
But we haven't owned our time. These cars have owned us.
They have owned us.
We've had windows that have fallen down, radiators that have broken.
Yeah.
Catastrophic oil issues.
Yeah.
Soft close electrical issues.
I've bottomed out on every single bump that Montreal has to offer.
Damaged the rear bit of your car.
I blew a tire.
I've damaged the front bit of my car.
Yeah. Wait, I damaged the rear bit of my car?
Yeah, so yeah. Underneath you, when you bottomed out, it's sort of torn it away a bit.
Really?
I forgot to mention that.
Oh.
So yeah, they've I've got a light out on my gauge cluster.
Yeah, you do.
I don't feel like I've had a luxury time. I just feel like I've eaten like a pig. And it's been good.
That's pretty luxurious though. I mean, listen, the luxury here is that the amount of car we've achieved for the amount of money we paid.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? Do you know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah,
like
yeah.
This, not only is it physically a lot of car, but you also get a lot of experience. Like, well, obviously we didn't have the ability to do equal length headers and make them actually sound like F1 cars, but like you add the tunnel into the mix, and I don't know. It's pretty sweet.
Should we have a little final bite to eat?
Yeah, I'm thinking the only thing left that is like the quintessential Montreal food, which is
Smoked meat,
Montreal smoked meat.
which is the same as pastrami.
Right, yes, depending on where you get it. We're in Montreal, so it's Montreal smoked meat.
And then Thomas has tasked me with quite a special dessert surprise, which I think I succeeded at.
Yeah.
That was a mission. And a really strange one. Like, here's the beaver tails.
Sorry.
Like, I know we've eaten Canadian
James,
stuff, but that is
This
is exotic.
These are real beaver's tails.
Yeah, look, it's ready to make a dam.
Can you please stop that? This is really, really gross. James, beaver tails are a dessert.
I'm confused. You sent me to get beaver tails for dessert?
Yeah, for dessert. And they're a dessert with like a deep fried, it's like a pastry, and there's chocolate on it. That is an actual beaver's tail.
But you eat
That's
these?
a war wound right there.
Oh, no, I don't want to look at that. But people eat these.
No, you don't eat, you can't eat beaver's tail. You can't eat, that's not a thing.
Yes,
How would
can.
you even cook it? That doesn't make any, that
Yeah.
is so gross.
I'm going to Google it. We're going to figure this out. How to eat beaver properly.
No, don't Google that.
There's a video
You
here.
know what, go ahead.
Okay, well, real beaver tails weren't quite the plan, but I guess if James got a much-needed education online, then I guess it worked out. Anyway, that was a humorous ending to a fun trip, and that's where we'd love to have ended it. However, at the risk of sounding exactly like myself from the first episode, the night wasn't over.
You might have noticed that we weren't in the best part of town, which meant that when our man Joey took the crew truck around the corner to get some water for the team, and even though he literally left the truck alone for a couple of minutes at the most, and even though as a preventative measure we had installed a fantastic smart cap truck bed cover, some considerate person had smashed a window and grabbed a ton of gear.
Okay.
So he took both our bags, Joey?
Yeah. I guess
That's my laptop. That's everything. That's everything, dude. That's like all hard drives.
No, I want Joey to call 911. Yeah, everyone.
However, this time, one of the bags had an AirTag in it. And since the police said nothing more than file a report, we followed the AirTag to confront the thief. Unfortunately, this led us to an exceptionally sketchy part of the city. I think I even saw James's pee bag gain a few ounces. And we realized we were nowhere near equipped to handle this situation. And even though we knew we were in the vicinity of the gear and called the police again, the police couldn't care less and actually hung up on us.
Can you not send a cruiser here? We literally know where they are.
I'm sorry, you have to go yourself to the police station and report it stolen.
That seems like an error in process.
Thank you, sir.
So, knowing that at least the footage from this trip was still with us, we returned to that dodgy parking lot, and after realizing that we and our fancy-looking cars were starting to get eyed up by some other unsavory characters in the area,
I was sketched out by that.
we hightailed it out of there and decided that instead of spending another romantic night in Montreal, we'd just, begin the journey home. Now.
So, not the perfect maple syrup-filled ending to the trip that we had hoped. But regardless of what misfortunes befell us, on the way out of town, we did at least have some V12 therapy as we roared through those tunnels once more. Thanks for watching.
And once again, unrelated to El Roberino, we have some fantastic partners to thank for making this trip possible. We will put any and all links in the description, including the ones with discounts. To WeatherTech then, for unknowingly decorating our drag race start line and consistently providing high quality floor and truck bed protection for our crew cars and personal cars. They're brilliant, check them out. To to Quadlock, the most reliable and consistent part of our cars, build quality that surpasses any case we've had before it, and our phones were protected and securely attached to our cars at all times. We could learn a lot from their focus on security. To Auto Tempest, still our #1 destination for shopping for used cars, and now that the used market is getting a little bit more attainable, maybe give it a little search for yourself, there are some gems to be had. To Piloti, whose driver-focused shoes keep us looking stylish and feeling like an F1 driver on their day off. Our personal favourites are the Shift shoes, but they've also added some very cool new styles recently. Check those out. And to 3M and Limitless Wraps. You can complain to them about the sacrilege that both our cars fell victim to, but be warned, it'll only be met with wonderful customer service and high-quality materials. And of course to Fawaz at Eclection Auto, who imported Thomas's E38 and found my W140 locally. And to Clarkson Fine Cars, who made sure that both vehicles were able to make their way back onto the road after each false start. And finally, to you, the subscriber, the viewer, the devilishly handsome person watching this right now, without whom these trips would not be possible. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one. And if you're one of the thieves from either episode watching this, well then you're a real piece of work. I hope the next time you microwave something frozen, you have to stir it and then put it back in again because it stayed cold in the middle.
Jesus, calm down, James.
I know, I just get worked up. We're having such a nice time, we're trying all the foods, and we're going to all these different places with our friends, and